guys, welcome back to Through the Light podcast.
I'm Lenise.
And I'm Naila. It's nice to be back.
We're so happy that you're here.
Yes.
So today we're switching it up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for this conversation because I think it's something that we're kind of experiencing.
Yeah.
But not in the way that I think everyone else is, those who go viral and stuff like that, but I think we're getting a taste of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of shaping us right now.
Yes, absolutely. I think with the topic that we're talking about this week, we're in a season where we're conscious of the aftermath of what we say and what we do on platforms like social media and the impact that it can leave on not only our lives but other people's lives. And I think the fact that we're aware of that is good, because we're going to be watching what we do and what we say. There's a lot of people that aren't aware of their actions, but I think that's the first step to making an impact.
Yes, I think that right now we're seeing people have influence, and we're seeing few people make an impact.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we were exploring this topic together, we concluded that impact is more important than influence.
Yes.
And I say that because, when I think about impact, I think about the different roles that we carry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could be a friend, you could be a mom, a dad, a sister, a brother, you could be an uncle, an auntie, you could be a manager, right? You could be a customer. We play so many roles in society.
Yeah.
And I think that in every role, there can still be an impact.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sometimes, we don't realize that we have all these roles and those roles have impact, so we kind of depend on one role which can give us influence.
Yep.
And I think that when I think about being a sister, I'm still a daughter, I'm still
Mm-hmm.
a friend, so those characteristics have to translate in every role that I play to still continue my impact.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of influence, I think you're wearing one hat.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you're striving for success.
Mm-hmm.
You're striving to
definitely.
blow up that way in success.
Yep, definitely. And I like how you said that influence is associated with success, because when I think of impact and influence, the way I differentiate the two is that impact, it lasts longer, whereas influence can be very temporary. Influence is like a trend. You have influencers on social media. They show you the latest makeup techniques and makeup products, and then there's always something new that's going to come out, So that influencer, they have to switch it up now. It's always something new every single week. Whereas impact can last forever. Jesus Christ, he died on the cross. People are still talking about him. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yes.
impact. So I think that's how I see the difference between the two. And I think, like you said, influence being associated with success.
Mm-hmm.
Some people go into things because of the success, and they rather the success over the impact. And that's when it becomes dangerous, because it's if that's the case, it's not going to be a good end result. It's going to be a temporary result, and it's going to be great, right, temporarily, until it crashes down. And then you realize it's not feeding you the way you want it to feed you anymore.
I think that's so good because, we were talking and, I was thinking I don't want to be once great. Oh, Lenise was once this person, or she once was a good manager, once
Mm-hmm.
was a good therapeutic mentor, Naila was once a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
The once omits your influence and impact,
Mm-hmm.
right? You only had impact in one season of your life. Naila was saying, impact is supposed to be for a lifetime.
Forever.
People should recall your story, your walk, the impact that you had on their life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you step into influence, now these can go hand in hand, right? Because we could be influencing people. Maybe they want to start a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But we can also be impacting people in an influencer world
Yeah.
with being heartfelt, right? And being authentic.
Mm-hmm.
I feel nowadays we can just put the camera up and record ourselves doing something, boom, you're viral.
Yeah, definitely that.
And with that quickness, I don't understand where impact can play a role. I see influence, but I don't see impact.
Yeah. And I think, do you think like people rather choose influence over impact because there's not like, I think it's more serious having impact than being an influencer. You know, like you could influence someone, but it's not like, yes, it can be important, but there's not a lot of power that comes with that. There's not a lot of responsibility that comes with that. Like there's a saying that with great power comes great responsibility. When you impact somebody's life and that lasts forever, it comes with a lot of responsibility. And I think with our situation, like we've become conscious of like our own actions, like I said before. And so you have to like kind of remind yourself, like, do you do what you preach? That's something that keeps me grounded, is like, I gotta watch what I'm doing, what I'm saying on my platform. I can't give our viewers advice or counsel and I'm not doing the exact same thing. That makes me a hypocrite. And I don't wanna be a hypocrite, you know? I wanna stand for what I say. So
I like that because like when I think of impact and influence, like I think true impact is when you're not just excelling in one area, it's your life, right?
Yep.
So you're not just a good makeup artist, you're also someone's daughter, you're also someone's sister, you're also someone's brother, all things, right? So it's not just excelling and succeeding in one area. What, like, how else does your life impact people, right? I think even when you hold the door for someone at the store, you impacted their life by being so kind. I think when you know, you feel in your heart you kind of want to pay for someone's groceries. You don't know what financial issues they were having that day. Impacted their life. But that's not because you are a girl, a female, a woman. That's because it's your heart. I think impact is tied to your heart and how authentic you are. Influence is like a character. That personality of you can influence people.
So do you think it lacks being genuine?
I think from what we see today, it's genuine. I think people are expressing creativity, which is causing influence, right? Like, you know, our best friend Lizzie, she does makeup now. That's
Shout out to Lizzie.
Shout out to Lizzie.
We'll drop her information so y'all can follow her on TikTok.
Hashtag get Lizzie on the podcast.
Oh yeah, it's coming soon. Don't worry about it.
We're still on that, okay? We're trying. But I think like Lizzie does makeup. She's doing hair. She's doing Get Ready With Me. Those are she's an influencer. Right? But she can have impact because even though, you know, we know her from just that screen, I think the world can see her as an influencer because we can only see that part of Lizzie from that one screen, right? But she has impacted our lives. We know her personally. You know? And I think that's when influence, there's a gray area, right? Because it goes back to my point where you only just know that one part of someone that they're using as influence.
That's a great point.
Who are you is impact.
Yeah, I like that because with influencers, like, even though we do kind of like some of them, we have an insight of their lives and a little bit of who they are, they're still at a sense like they're guarded and they don't share every single thing. And even though we don't share every single thing, I think we're pretty open, you know, about our own experiences. Whether we go deep into detail or not, we are open about our lives and how they have changed through following Christ. Like people that are impactful, like they're impactful because of what they say and what they do. That's what really catches people. But it's something to be, you have to be aware of it because, you know, the Bible says that death and life are in the power of the tongue. So those who love it will eat its fruit. That's what it says. So it's like, you have to be conscious of that. Whatever you say, it's not only like putting power over your life, but like that's going over someone else's life too, whatever you say, because they're hearing it too, whatever you're saying, you know? So that's why, like, you know, like when you're on TikTok and you be scrolling and someone says like, stop, let me pray for you. Like, what? I'm rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Like, why you, like, don't stop so you can pray for me. Like,
Yeah.
but I'm not saying, like, they're bad people or, like, there's something on them that doesn't align with my spirit. It's just you don't know them. Like, if I'm scrolling and I just see a random person and they say, let me pray for you real quick, I don't know what they carry, what fruit they're bearing. I don't know. So why would I stop so they can put whatever they're about to pray over me onto my spirit? And that's something that has to do with impact, you know? People that are impactful, you have to watch what you're saying and what you're doing, because people are really taking it and they can be using it in their lives. I don't ever want to be responsible for somebody, you know, misinterpreting something and then taking it and doing something that's negative. You know, I would never want to be responsible for that. So that's something that I have to be aware of, or at least I try to be aware of when we're speaking on our platform.
Excellent point, because I think that influence and impact are supposed to go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
When I think about our podcast or like this platform we're trying to build, like, I imagine that we do it behind God though, right? Because we want to make sure that it is God's work being done that's going to have the impact through our lives though.
Yeah.
And I think influence and impact were supposed to go hand in hand. However, society has separated them. Oh, I'm just an influencer. Like, you guys shouldn't be worried about my life. You shouldn't care about what I do. Like, but I'm influencing you.
Mm-hmm.
That's still impact.
Yeah.
You have millions and millions of followers.
Mm-hmm.
You're impacting someone's life.
Mm-hmm.
You are. And I think that we are wrapped up in the influence because I think influence is also associated with likes and followers and you know, all those things, all those material things, and you know, our fashion, our clothes and stuff like that, that, you know, the impact starts to diminish. I don't care if I'm impacting you. My views say that I'm an influencer.
Yeah.
You know, I'm influencing somebody. I don't care if I'm impacting you. I think they're supposed to go hand in hand.
So what would be your advice on someone, like, you know, that does makeup all the time on social media? Like, how, like, you're saying that goes hand in hand, which I agree with in a sense. Do you not think that they can just influence somebody by just doing makeup, like, and not talk about their, do you think they can still be an influencer and just do that solely and not talk about their day-to-day life?
I think that, to be clear, like, you can just be a makeup artist. Like, that's your role that you're playing. Like, that's
Something
what you
you're
want to
passionate
do.
about.
That's your passion. I think when we talk about influence, I think what we're trying to get at is how you're influencing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're a bad influencer.
Yeah. So you think the how and the why
And the why.
is important? Yeah.
I think that's the main message here, like how you're doing it and why you're doing it. You know, like, I see people make an impact and are influencing parents with special needs children on TikTok, right? And then they are able to go onto platforms and, you know, I guess maybe they're put into that category of being an influencer because of their impact they've had on so many people.
Yeah.
But still, like, you see how they both go hand in hand. I never want us to get wrapped up in, like, well, we're just influencers. You know, like, there has to be impact. They should go together. That's just how I see it.
Yeah. I think too, like, we associate influencing with, like, selling something.
Yeah.
You want somebody to, like, buy something. You want somebody to use the same products or whatever you're using in your day-to-day life, whatever it is. There's so many different types of influencers. You got makeup, you got lifestyle, you got interior design and stuff like that, you know? So there's so many different like things that are under this umbrella of influence. So that's what I think of when it comes to influence. It's like you're targeting an audience, but you're selling something as well. It's like being a part of a sales team, you know, basically.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't think we're like, when I talk about our platform for Through the Light, our impact, we're not selling God to you. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to give input on our journey and express what we've learned along the way, and also teach as well and be disciples in a way. But I don't think we're ever like selling like something, you know? That's what I think of when I think of influence.
Yeah, I don't think we're like drop your religion and pick up Christianity and go about like no.
Mm-hmm.
I think through conversation, we're trying to tell you guys like this is what life looks like for us, and we hope that there's something you get out of it that can change you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I think this conversation came about when we received a comment on one of our TikToks.
Yeah.
You know, someone that we don't know, but commented on a video when we posed a question from our TikTok, and she opened up to us.
Yeah, and that was surprising to us.
It
We weren't
humbled
expecting it.
us so much, because who are we? You know, we're mere humans. But I believe that it's God that speaks through us, that, you know, allows us to have an impact on somebody, to be able to be transparent to just mere humans.
Yeah.
We're strangers to them, but there's some level of comfort that we brought to her that she was able to open up to us.
Mm-hmm.
That's impactful to me, even if it's just one person.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it shows our viewers that they can open up to us and we won't judge them, and that it's a safe space. When you're impacting other people, you should create an environment that's safe for everyone to feel like they can come to you if they want to. Because I always say, like, you know, our podcast, I want it to be a community. I want everyone to be able to talk about their experiences. If they went through the same thing that we went through, if they can learn something from it, or if we can even learn something from their experiences, like regarding to the comment that we got. It was very enlightening hearing her talk about her story briefly. So I think that's something to keep in mind too, is that we made it a space of being comfortable with others by just opening up and talking about our own experience. She felt as though she can talk about her own as well.
Absolutely. And I think that's just what we kind of always try to remember. Every
Mhm.
time we have, like we said, we have these conversations to ourselves, and then we kind of present it to you guys in the same conversational way, though. Like, I would like the conversation to continue off camera, on camera, you know?
Mhm.
And I think we grew up in a culture where it's like, well, I'm holier than thou, right? Or I'm better than you. Let me influence your life by spewing out these laws and requirements that God has for you.
Mhm.
Notice how it was a negative impact, though.
Yeah, very.
It was a huge negative impact for us, because now we are scared of this God that's supposed to be kind and gentle, but we're being ridiculed or criticized or mocked at church, a place where impact should be happening every single interaction you have with somebody.
Yep.
So I was reflecting on that as well, that, you know, we don't want to come off like that. We want to present ourselves in a way where there's impact. Influence in a way where, you know, you want to also kind of join us,
Yeah.
right? It's a journey that we all can go on together. But I think that, you know, understanding the differences between influence and impact has put us in a place where we have to ensure that, you know, we're checking how we deliver our word, and we're speaking out of a place that's authentic, and we're speaking out of love.
Yes, I love how you said that, speaking out of love. It's, like you said, when you're being impactful, there should be a positive impact. There should never be any type of way negative. And that's something that I think we try to be aware of, and I think we do the best as we can. Obviously, nobody's perfect, but we never want to come off like we're better than anyone or we're talking down on anyone. We just really want to share our own experiences and show people that there is a way out. There is always light at the end of the tunnel, you know. There's always something else to look forward to. There is something good that can come out of a very bad and dark situation, always. So I think just speaking out of love, like Lenise said, that's how you make a positive impact, truly.
Yeah, that is like spot on, because I also think, with going off what you said, like the impact should be positive, and I know that sometimes impact is uncomfortable. Impact can feel standoffish because of what someone says. Like, I know when I go on, you know, my reels on Instagram, like the message that's coming on my screen is impactful, but you know, it takes me back to a place where it takes me back to a time where, you know, I wasn't proud of, or it brings you through all these emotions, but there's a level of impact that is bringing awareness.
Yeah.
It's bringing me self-awareness, and, you know, eventually becomes a positive impact. So I'm like, wow, like, you know, she said this, I remembered this, now I know where I'm at today.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the impact has to take you back to a place of healing. It reminds you of places that you have to go back and correct. It reminds you of places where you have to go back and sit in, right? And then move forward again. So I just, you know, that's why I think what impact is in a nutshell. It is a personal connection that you have on someone's life.
Yeah.
And I believe that impact and influence, I think impact is like, you know, what you said, like I really felt that. I think influence is like what you did, like I want to do that too, because I want to feel that again.
Yeah.
But then I see, like, you know, some people promote products on TikTok and they're like, I've been influenced, you know, I'm gonna buy that.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes a gray area.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's like selling something.
Yes.
You know, where like impact, that's total opposite. I don't think there is an end result of like I don't think money is the end result
Yes.
of impact, right? That's not something that when people are trying to make an impact, that's not the first thing that they're looking forward to. They're not looking forward for that to be the result. Whereas influence, most of the time, they're getting paid to influence you. When you see commercials and you see the celebrities doing a Pepsi commercial, you know they're not drinking the Pepsi.
They don't
they're
like
not drinking the Pepsi, but they did it for the check. They did it for the check, and now someone's gonna buy that Pepsi because, well, Beyonce was drinking that Pepsi.
Influence.
That's called influence. You're selling something.
Or like, you know, on TikTok they'll have like paid promotion.
Yeah,
like, you know, so do you genuinely even like it? Like, you can tell when it's genuine, but sometimes you're just like, did someone just pay to say this kind of thing? And I kind of want to go back on the verse that we have for this episode, because Luke 16 verse 10 to 11 says, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. And I believe that when it comes to being Christian girls, women who have podcasts, women who have podcasts, you know, there's something that can be attached to that, and it's you know, you can get validation through likes, through comments, through messages that people are sending you. Like, your hearts can start to be attached to those things and forgetting like who brought you here and why.
Yeah.
And I love that verse because it says, like, if God can trust you with just 10 followers, he knows, and you were disciplined, and you showed up every day, and you were on assignment, even when there was tears in your eyes, even when you were angry, even when someone got you upset, you corrected your heart, and you continued to be on assignment, God will bless you with 10 million. Because you're still that same person who are consistent. We've seen people have 10 followers, they get to 10,000, even 100, even change completely.
Yeah.
It taints their heart. Pride grows, humility depletes. You know, they switch up how they look, how they dress, all the things. And so this verse is so impactful because, like I said, that one comment on, you know, our TikTok, it humbled us.
Yeah.
We were even careful about how we responded, making sure it is out of our heart, it's authentic, you know. So I love that verse.
Yeah, I love it too, because it shows that like you shouldn't thrive off of the success. You shouldn't thrive off of the numbers. You shouldn't thrive off of how many subscribers or how many comments, how many likes you're getting. Because once you thrive off of that, you're doing it for that. You just showed why you're doing it. You're not doing it for God no more, if that's what your platform began with, right? So obviously there's people that, you know, have successful things that, I'm not talking about God, and they're so successful as well, but they could be doing things behind closed doors and praying to God and asking him to, you know, make this platform very big for me so I can continue to grow my platform, even if it's not associated with God. I do believe that they can still make an impact when it comes to spreading the gospel in other areas of their life too, if it's not that podcast or that platform, right? But for us, this is just what works for us, and this is something that we grew to love. And I can't help but to talk about God. Like, that's just, like, I can't help but to do it. So, even though, like, people that don't do it, they're probably still Christian, I just can't help but to talk about God. Like, he's going to come up no matter what I'm doing. Even if I'm working or if I'm out with family members that, aren't Christian or anything like that. Like, I'm still going to talk about him. Like, I'm sorry. Like, can't help it.
We literally cannot help it. Like, the other day, she called me asking me questions, and next thing you know, 3 hours goes by. We're in our Bible, like we're quoting scripture. I'm like, "But did you see that? How does it relate to that?" We're talking about life. Like, it's just how life is. It's just how life is, and I think our conversations don't always include God, but I think there's always just areas that we have to drop the gem. But I know that we are consistent with having meaningful conversations.
Yes, definitely.
Like, I can recall being at a friend's birthday dinner, and I'm sitting across another friend, and we're just deep in conversation.
Yep.
You feel me? So it's like we can't help but have those meaningful conversations no matter where we go.
It's never like superficial. Like, everything
is like, this is us off camera, on camera.
And I love that. Having deep conversations. Like, can you go deep with people? I love that. Intellectual minds.
Yes.
That's all I want to be surrounded by. I'm tired of that superficial stuff. Like, let's go deep. And then let's go deeper.
Like, bring a topic and let's dive into it.
I love that.
I think, because of the group that we're surrounded in, we've had so many conversations. I remember your birthday at the Airbnb, like, it was me, Lizzie, and our friends. Like, we was up till what, like 4 a.m. Lizzie? Just talking. Yep. And mind you, we had to leave the next day, but I love that I can go there with those friends.
Definitely.
Every time, and it's because when I go out in public and I hear someone talking about one of my friends, I can be like, no, I know them. And it's not that I know them because you see me with them. I know their heart.
Yeah.
And I think that's what gets lost in translation. Like, maybe that friend just influenced you, so you think you know them, but what impact did that friend have on your life that you consider that you know them?
Yeah. And that impact with your friendships, that's important as well, because you should be taking something away that's bettering you as a person from the interactions you have with people. If they're just taking and not pouring into you, then you shouldn't be around those people. And I can honestly say, whenever I'm around my friends, like, I'm taking something, like gems from them, that's bettering me. Iron sharpens iron. Like, when I'm on FaceTime with Lanice, I'm like, man, I need to be on my P's and Q's. I need to get on my Zoom. Like, I gotta keep going.
Absolutely.
That makes me like, okay, let me straighten up.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Even just, piggyback on that, like with my sister, like the Headspace Diaries video that we post. I truly did not think that a lot of people would interact with it. She's never ever talked about this area of her life. But I think the impacts, there was people who needed to hear that. Various age groups. People were sending love to her and like, this is amazing. Like, thank you for talking about this. And we just decided, I just told her, like, Dixie, you need to film with me because I need a video for Headspace Diaries. And she was like, well, what are we going to talk about? I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, let's talk about so and so. So to see it get that much attraction, I'm like, there's impact there.
Yeah.
There's impact there. So I think that, maybe influence comes from position or authority, but I think impact is heart-led and it is intentional. So I think that's something to kind of, take away, that your impact is definitely heartfelt, because it's no matter the platform, the followers, the views, the collaborations, which celebrity fall, it doesn't matter. It is heartfelt and intentional.
Yes, definitely. I totally agree.
Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Through the Light Podcast. Let's keep the conversation going. Follow us at
Through the Light Podcast on Instagram, on TikTok. I'll leave all the information down below. And also, let us know what you guys think is the difference between impact and influence down in the comments. We want to keep the conversation below. This is a community, so let us know what you guys think. Give us your thoughts and your opinions.
Love you.